Hello everyone, Oz here from Fantastic Forum, giving you another look at my package, sort of. This is another statue that I actually printed and painted myself, so this is one of mine. And as I start to do more and more of these, I'm wondering if I should change the name of the segment. I don't know, what do you call something that, it's a job that I did by hand. There's gotta be something Well, we'll workshop that later. If you have a suggestion, go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. This is Mary Marvel, 1/6 scale. Small things do come. Wait, good things come in small packages? I'm not even gonna edit that. So this is supposed to be the top of a mountain with some fluffy clouds. They look a little bit more whipped creamish than I'd normally like. Shiny gold boots, showing off a little leg. The red in her outfit originally had like a matte finish, but it looked really good under certain lighting where parts of it shined. So I added a little bit of gloss to certain areas to really make that light shine pop out. There's the gold of the symbol. I added some silver underneath it to kind of give it a little bit of like a crackly energy movement feeling. The cape looked kind of dull with just being white, so I actually added a pearlized white to give it a little bit more shimmer. I tried to do subtle makeup on the face. And the Black Adam version is basically the same, smaller cape. And the gold on the symbol is more of how the other one was supposed to look like before I messed it up. So this I actually made because the group that sculpted it had a competition for painting these. And I figured, well, I don't know if I'll win the competition. There's a lot of professional painters that actually submitted to it. But at the very least, maybe, you know, if it's halfway decent, I can sell this one. And as I started to make it, I made a lot of mistakes. And to be honest, a lot of the coolest things about these are because I made mistakes. For example, I have the black version here, the Black Adam version with a smaller cape. So originally, as I was printing the cape is all one piece and hooks in at the shoulder. So when I was printing the cape originally, now there's nothing I could do about this, but we actually lost power for a few seconds and it killed the print. I mean, it was almost done. It was, well, I'd say maybe there's about a third of the cape left, you know, it was probably down to here. And at that time, I thought, well, I wish maybe I can give her the smaller cape and I don't have to print out the big one. But then I got the idea, you know what? Actually, I'd like to see a Black Adam version. So I'll make a second version. And originally too, the arms were going to be interchangeable too. So it was just going to be the middle part and the cape. But I had trouble, like the way they fit in there is something weird was happening. I got tired of them not sticking right and falling off, so eventually I just made a new set and glued them on. So I ended up with this much of a second outfit, second statue. And I even thought about not having the cape. It's got a couple of holes here where the cape goes in, and I thought about just filling those in and painting them black. But this costume is kind of, it's got forgetting the word, it's textured, I guess is the best way to say it. And it would have like flat spots here. And the really big issue is I couldn't figure out what to do with this center crystal, whatever. It just looked weird. Not too bad. See, it's not bad. And you know, Mary Marvel in her Black Adam outfit a lot of times didn't have a cape. There was a couple times she did, so it could go either way. I'm still not sure which way I want to go with this, but I may just leave the cape on because it's still kind of cute. Now you can notice the difference between the symbols, and that is again a mistake that I made when I painted these. I used a spray paint, and it took longer to dry than I thought, and I grabbed this one and accidentally left a big fingerprint in the middle. So then I tried to make it like a neon yellow and kind of make it look like, oh, it's glowing. I thought that'd be cool. I even considered at one point using glow in the dark paint, and I kept blopping it on there, but it never like sat right. It looked weird, and I actually started to make like these crackle looking, that it would like pull together in weird areas, and it was just starting to do this weird thing that I got the idea, well, it kind of looks a little lightning-ish if I add some silver paint in the middle as kind of like the hot area of the lightning, and gold around the edges. It kind of gives it this effect like there's some energy going on there. I don't need the glow in the dark paint, and I can use that same gold to cover up some other places that I may or may not have gotten fingerprints on. And to be honest, I kind of like the way it came out. I still wish it would have been like how I originally planned it, but it's not as smooth as the however many layers of paint I ended up putting on. It just kind of like made it looks like it's moving a little bit, like crackly, like energy, and I don't know, it ended up being kind of cool, so I left that on there. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to almost lost her. Not a whole lot to this one. It's 1/6 scale, but one of the differences between these and what other people are printing and painting is, and maybe this is just my foolishness, this is completely solid. Most people try to save on resin, and they print them out hollow, and they're just super light. They feel really delicate, and honestly, I think that's why a lot of them break in shipping with that hollowness. Once they hit something, there's more room to flex, and I think that's where you're gonna get a lot of cracks and breaks with what, like if you went to eBay and got somebody to print one for you, you're gonna get hollow. I guarantee it's gonna be hollow, and they just feel kind of cheap. But this one, I mean, there's some weight to this, especially the base. I feel secure with the weight of this base. As far as the rest of the statue, I don't think you could do this cape hollow, and it's just so thin, but it's heavy. It's actually so heavy that I'd have to glue it to the shoulders because it kind of like leans back a little bit. And see, this is the way it's supposed to sit, where it's a little bit more than my finger length thickness or whatever, but it's kind of coming down like that, and it's actually right up against her boot, which I don't mind because this boot I haven't glued to that leg, so it's gonna hold it in place, and it doesn't look too bad up here. It's not like it's an exaggerated popping up. So if I had printed this hollow, I'd be worried that the weight of this would kind of like at some point it would fall over. Me personally, I like making these solid. I understand people feel like I'm wasting a lot of resin, but the amount that it costs me to print this over what it would have been for me to buy one is, I don't mind the extra $3 or $4 worth of material that I'm putting into it if I feel like it's more secure, and not just more secure because of the base, but actually almost every piece on here except for the base I've at some point dropped from pretty good height. I mean, not top of the bill. You know, I'm holding it and I do something stupid and I drop it, and nothing has broken yet. And I'd like to think, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if you're some kind of tensile strength scientist out there. Maybe you can correct me in the comments. But I tend to believe that it's the solidness of the statue that gives it its strength. Now, maybe some people that print in hollow might fill it with something and get that same extra strength against dropping. But that all seems like a lot of work. It's honestly the difference between hollow and solid, especially at this size, is $4 or $5. It's not that much. At the most, with everything, and look, it's not gonna be more than $20. So I guess it depends on what kind of resin you get. Some people get like a super expensive $80 resin. I go through Sunlu, and usually those are, for the cheap resin is maybe like $10 per 1,000 grams per kilogram, or 20 for the ABS, like, which is this. It's a little bit stronger. Now, supposedly you lose some detail in comparison, but you gain the strength. And to be honest, there's plenty of detail. If there's any detail lost between this and what it would have had on regular resin, I mean, I just can't see where that would be. But I'm confident that the worst thing that would happen if I drop one of these, a piece of her, is I might have to touch up the paint depending on where it hit. I'm not worried about stuff shattering. Gonna keep doing these. I still have a backlog of stuff that I've printed that I need to get to work on. So until then, don't forget we stream live every Wednesday afternoon, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. We're on Twitch, YouTube, live in the chat. Go ahead, join us, ask us some questions, talking comics, collectibles, movies, TVs, a whole wide range of things, and some weird tangents sometimes. So yeah, join us live, and until the next one, go read some comics.